All right, guys, here's what we're gonna do today. You may have seen it, but I had a video a couple weeks ago about doing this stamped concrete. We just did regular gray concrete here. Today we're gonna stain it, because you can see that this concrete here that it's sitting next to is a brown or light tan. So I've got some acid etching stain that we're gonna spray on here, and I have two colors. So I'm gonna put one color on just a couple of those random stones here and there, and then the other color will be the majority. And then we're gonna go ahead and seal it. The sealer we're gonna use is a non-slip. I'm using a non-slip additive for a wet look high gloss sealer. You know, high gloss sealers, wet looks get slippery, so I'm gonna do a little additive in there that's gonna make it slip resistant. So anyway, I'm gonna start prepping for the acid etching stain. I'm gonna blow it. I'm just gonna blow it off with a blower, blow off the dust and dirt. Then I'm gonna put a little plastic on this edge. Also, I'm gonna tape off the building, the garage a little bit. That way I don't get a lot of spray, because I'm gonna use a pump up sprayer to apply the stain. So right here, I'm just laying the tape, putting some paper down, because you don't want to overspray with stain. It is what it sounds like, it stains. So that's why you want to tape off really well. I taped up a little bit on the building, but I should have came up a little higher. I noticed I had some splatters on it. I ended up using my pressure washer. It worked pretty good. We've got this one made by Proline. It's an oak color. You can dilute this up to 20% if you want a little lighter tone and get more coverage. This is the same resistant additive for the sealer. Now this whole thing will mix up to 5 gallons, but I'll use it and make about 15 gallons because I don't like that much stuff in there. Plus, if you put all this in 5, it's difficult to get through a sprayer, but at a lighter ratio, it goes through a lot easier. This is the actual sample of the other stain color. It's a coffee color. So this one was free, and it still applies. You can go 20% water to these. You're gonna get a little lighter tone of this color you can see here. So we're just gonna go natural. We're not gonna add any water to this. You can do this on old concrete too if you want. The thing about old concrete is you have to make sure it's never been acid washed before for this particular stain to work. You could always go water-based stain, and it'll work on any concrete surface regardless of if it's been acid washed. But since this is acid etching, you can't acid wash it first, because once concrete gets acid washed and then you try to use acid etching, it doesn't react. So I know this hasn't been acid washed because I did it, so this one's perfect. But if you think something hasn't been acid washed prior to using this type of stain, which I like better than the water-based. Water-based stain is kind of like just painting concrete. This will actually give you modeling and two-tone, and it'll be transparent. Whereas water-based stain is just kind of a paint, basically. This actually changes the molecules in the concrete surface by the reaction with the cement itself in the concrete. So this is going to be a longer lasting type coloring than a water-based stain. Okay, we're going to add the first color. This is, what color is this one? Coffee. Dump it in. Okay, so my half-gallon sprayer is the coffee. My gallon sprayer is going to be the oak. You know, what's interesting is, I mean, if you look at it, it looks green, right? That's how you know it's actually chemically reacting with the concrete and changing the concrete color by the reaction of this product. That's what makes it last longer than a water-based stain. So on old concrete that you want to use an acid-based stain, you can just do a little sample area, degrease, use a degreaser, clean it really well with a brush and water, let it completely dry, do a sample, see how it takes, then you'll know whether or not you want to do the whole area or not. But I'm not going to do a sample, I'm just going to go for it. I didn't need to pour it all in there. This is a 1 gallon sprayer. And if you put 1 gallon into a 1 gallon sprayer, you don't get a lot of air, you know, to pump it up with. Now look at this. We're gonna spray the rock right here, and we're gonna see if we can actually see a reaction. You can see it reacted, it foamed up a little bit there. Look at that. See how it's bubbling? That's how you know you've got the hydrochloric acid or muriatic acid in there. Now that's what it's going to do to the concrete. It's going to chemically react with the cement. So, you know, if you really want to get accurate on these stones, you could brush this in, just stay within those pieces, but I'm just going to go for it as is. I just noticed this is pretty clean. I just blew it off, but I noticed a stain right here. I don't know what it is. Sometimes that acid-based stain will penetrate some dirt, but if it's grease or oil, it won't. Like if you did Armor All on a slab that you're going to stain, you're going to have to use like a degreaser first. All right, that looks pretty clean. Okay, now we're going to fill up. We're going to start with the gray color, the sample. We're going to hit just a couple stones. Like maybe I'll do this one in a gray, and then maybe I'll jump over here and do a gray, and then maybe right here I'll try to get 3 of these big ones in a gray, and then I'm going to go over everything with the other color that I got. I'm just going to do one right here. Now let's catch this little side one. See that? We got one right there. Now, now let's throw a little bit more of this one in. Let's do this section right here. Because I kept that wet edge on the other sealer, and I'm putting this right over it, it's going to blend those. Notice how I'm going in a circular motion. That helps from showing your spray pattern, because you could see that if you do a lot of straight lines. Throw a little more coffee on here. Let's try this one. Kept that wet edge in, hit the edge over here, blend it. All right. We'll do one more. We'll try to get one more with that coffee color. Look back there, you can see how it's changing the color already on some of those where it's drying out. Let's see if we can get enough out of this baby. Maybe we'll just try this one. Nope, we're not going to get it. Done with the coffee. But that's an option too. You could just spot it here and there and then just run this over the top. See, now what we're doing here, by the second pass, we're puddling it. So the puddles are going to set into those nooks and crannies and give you that deep two-tone effect. Around the other side. I'm gonna let it puddle up a little bit here. All right, that wraps it up. Maybe a little more down here. Let's put a little more right here, this area. Might as well do the sides since I'm here, huh? And I got extra. Four hours, we'll give it a good rinse just with water, maybe do a little sweeping on it, get it nice and clean. Whatever's left, that's what it's gonna look like when we seal it. All right, this is 4 hours later. Now I'm just gonna rinse it, scrub it with a broom, and then let it dry overnight, and I'll seal it tomorrow. But here's what it looks like after 4 hours. You can see the dark ones that we did. Coffee, this one's the coffee. There's a couple up there, and the rest is oak. But I'm going to start rinsing. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention about, because it is acid etching stain, you may want to neutralize before you seal, and you can do that. You can buy some products that are specially designed to neutralize, but you can just add a couple tablespoons to water, put it in your sprayer, spray it down. Now the acid's neutralized. That's what baking soda can do, or is it baking powder? One of those two neutralizes acid. So right here, I'm just washing the concrete down. It's getting the excess residual product that didn't really set into the concrete. So we're going to get all that loose material off. Then it'll be ready for sealing. Well, there it is. Let's see what it looks like tomorrow after sealer. Hit it with some sealer tomorrow. That's a wrap. Right here, what we're doing is we're prepping the sealer. I'm using acetone to cut this sealer with. This is a super heavy sealer, and it's not going to spray that well at full strength. So I'm going to cut it with some acetone. Also, since we're adding that non-slip additive, that's also hinders the ability for it to spray nicely through the sprayer. But dilute it, and then add I add a lot less than they recommend on that non-slip additive. I'm just doing about 3 capfuls of the non-slip to a gallon. You'll see that. That's coming up soon. So we're going to do 3 capfuls. This is a non-slip additive. After you spray this on, when the sealer is completely dry, when you go to feel the sealer with your hand, it feels like about a 600 grit sandpaper. Because a lot of times when you're using a wet look sealer like this, high gloss, if it gets water on top of it and you're walking across it, it could get really slippery and dangerous. So I recommend using some kind of a non-slip additive. Either that, or you don't even use a high gloss. You just use like a penetrating sealer or something. But high gloss does look a lot better though. Now this sprayer that we're using, because it's plastic and we have a solvent-based sealer, this sealer we're using is called Calico. It's a really good sealer. I happen to get this out of Nevada. Now this particular job's in Arizona. They may have the similar sealers, I'm not sure. But when I was at World of Concrete, I happened to stop at Concrete Accessories there in Las Vegas, and I picked up some Calico. It's a really heavy sealer, so it's going to last a long time out here. And that's what you're going to want. When you've got a lot of sunlight, direct sunlight like we do here, you need really good sealers. These sprayers are only going to last probably about an hour, hour and a half before the rubber starts disintegrating on you. So you want to work really quick once you load them, and then you got to dispose of them. What happens if you don't get rid of them real quick, that rubber hose starts getting soft from the solvent-based sealer, and then it'll actually, because you're under pressure, somewhat pressure that you're pumping into the thing, it's gonna, the hose is gonna rupture, and then all your fluid's gonna shoot out of the hose, whatever you happen to have in there. In this case, it's sealer. And that can be a real mess, especially if you're indoors. So I'm real happy the way this turned out. As time goes by, this may fade a little bit, which would be okay because it's pretty bright right now. We'll see as time goes by how it holds up in this in the area that we're in here. It's a beautiful look though, you have to admit that. Anyway, that about wraps up this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. That way you'll be notified as soon as we upload our next video. Have a great day. Bye.